to swim, I'll see you down in Arizona Bay. Fret for your figure, and fret for your latte, and fret for your lawsuit, and fret for your hairpiece, and fret for your Prozac, and fret for your pilot, and fret for your contract, and fret for your car. It's a bullshit three-ring circus sideshow of freaks here in this hopeless fucking hole we call LA. The only way to fix it is to flush it all away. Any fucking time, any fucking day. Learn to swim, I'll see you down in Arizona Bay. Some say a comet will fall from the sky, followed by meteor showers and tidal waves, followed by fault lines that cannot sit still, followed by millions of dumbfounded dipshits. And some say the end is near. Some say we'll see Armageddon soon. I certainly hope we will. I sure could use a vacation from this stupid shit, silly shit, stupid shit. One great big festering neon distraction. I've a suggestion to keep you all occupied. Learn to swim, learn to swim, learn to swim. Cause Mom's gonna fix it all soon. Mom's coming around to put it back the way it ought to be. Learn to swim, 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 learn to swim. Fuck no one hover and front all his clones. Fuck all these gun-toting hip gangster wannabes. Learn to swim, 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 learn to swim. Some say a comet will fall from the sky, followed by meteor showers and tidal waves, followed by fault lines that cannot sit still. Follow the followed by millions of dumbfounded dipshit, followed back and felt. Bullshit, through a throw anything. Fuck your tattoos. Fuck all you junkies and fuck your short memories. Yeah. Learn to swim, 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 learn to swim. Yeah, fuck smiley glad hands with hidden agendas. Fuck these dysfunctional, insecure actresses. Learn to swim, learn to swim, learn to swim, learn to swim, learn to swim. Oh, cause I'm praying for rain. I'm praying for tidal waves. I wanna see the ground give way. I wanna watch it all go down. Mom, please flush it all away. I wanna see it go right in and down. I wanna watch it go right in. Watch it flush it all away. Yeah, time to bring it down again. Yeah, don't just call me pessimist. Try and read between the lines. I can't imagine why you wouldn't welcome any change, my friend. I wanna see it come down, put it down, suck it down, flush it down.
Waters of chaos have invaded our space. The flood on earth again. I have to find the whales that once did guide us to the dry lands of life. I won't despair, I'll break this dark ground under heavy sea. I'll search the flight of whales beneath the seas. I searched and had a different view of us on earth, the sinking ship of men. But it's beyond the stars. I found the place where they were, and they finally came to light. Over the winds, they dwell in light, like the arrow in the sky. I found myself on higher grounds from up here, for I see them all the ways in flight. Now I can see the whales looming out of the dark, like arrows in the sky. I can't believe my eyes, but it's true. See Gojira left, get tickets as low as 1,433. You might also like the heaviest matter of the universe. Gojira, l'enfant sauvage. Gojira, too serious. Gojira, huge tunnel, empty light, like banks of clouds. me how to fly, slowly moving in the air. Oh, much told with no words at all. Powerful presence for only speech. Breathe. Over the winds, they dwell in light. Fly. Fly. Over the winds, they dwell in light. 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 See them all the ways in flight. Over the winds, they dwell in light. Fly. Like arrows in the sky, I found myself on higher grounds from up here. For I see them all the ways in flight.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying the stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows if the stores are all closed, with a word, she can get what she came for. And she's buying the stairway to heaven. There's a sign on the wall, but she wants to be sure, 'cause you know sometimes words have two meanings. In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird who sings. Sometimes all of our thoughts are misgiven. Ooh, it makes me wonder. Ooh, it makes me wonder. There's a feeling I get when I look to the west, and my spirit is crying for leaving. In my thoughts I have seen rings of smoke through the trees, and the voices of those who stand looking. Ooh, it makes me wonder.
Welcome, my friends, to Xbox Era. If you're new here, let me fill you in. Xbox Era is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, xboxera.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of Xbox Era. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Day One, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/Xbox Era. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. Xbox Era is only made possible by the support of an amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers, Top, The Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andau, Frankie C, Terran H, and Brit. Our amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to Xbox Era to another level. Krat56 and Assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only Xbox Era CEO, Torn Raptor.
You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content Xbox Era produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/Xbox Era, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Xbox Era Headlines. You're catching me today a little bit out of sorts, I think.
You were
for
so
a
blown away
multitude-
by Indiana Jones that you can't handle it. Everyone's on the site reading your. Oh wait,
Yeah, I wish the site was down because people were reading it, but we appear to be in some form experiencing some sort of error, whether it's a DDoS attack or whatever else.
bad
might be the
plugin?
case. I don't know.
it
Could be. We don't know. We're
Mhm.
trying to investigate, but it literally kicked in at like 5 to 2. Like it knew. Hey, have you got a cool preview going live? Well, fuck you.
Were you one of the ones who didn't
so-
do a premiere like you weren't? It turns out supposed to.
Yeah, I did not. I did not do a premiere because I read my emails. But I also think that language used across countries is slightly different. Speaking to some colleagues in the industry, but no harm, no mess, no foul.
I just always assume if they say
it's-
that you can say the date, but you can't say the date and that it's going live at, then you can only
Yes,
say
correct.
the date.
Yeah,
That's just me.
I always err on that side of caution. Speaking of dates, today is October 29th, 2024, and we're going to walk you through all of the latest in gaming news from across the industry. And obviously, as a bonus for our wonderful patrons, we make audio versions of these episodes available to them via Patreon for use in their preferred podcast application. But if you're on Spotify, you can link your account to Patreon app and listen to it right there. If you're only on Spotify and you're not a patron, you'll actually see the Headlines podcast as a podcast available under the Xbox Era brand with a little padlock next to it. And if you click that, you can join the Patreon instead. So it works both ways, baby. Just head to patreon.com/Xbox Era if you want to be a legend. Where to dig in? There's two pretty big topics that I think are going to take up the most of the time. Should we talk Indy first? Should we get Indy out of the way? And then we'll talk about
Since people couldn't
Yeah.
read it, but they can go and watch it.
Yeah. Well, you can go watch it on YouTube right now, and I presume you're going to be playing the video in the background when we talk about this. Yes, a couple of weeks ago, I got to sit down, thanks to the folks at Bethesda, and play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for over 2 hours, I think, maybe a little bit more. I think it's going to be one of the best games of the year. There's a ton of different ways to talk about this, and you can watch the preview for the succinct version, but it is not, it is not an action game in as much as you don't run around with a gun mowing down Nazis, as much as we would all love to do that. There are different games for that. It is the best. I think Mission Games have done the best possible job they can to actually look at what Indiana Jones is as a character and as a franchise and make a game that tackles all sides of his persona. He's smart, he's resourceful, he punches Nazis in the face, he solves puzzles and mysteries, and it does each of these things incredibly well. To the point where I was like, oh my god, this is like an Indiana Jones immersive sim light combat stealth Chronicles of Riddick medley of awesome. It looked fantastic. It runs at 60 FPS on Xbox Series X, which is pretty awesome. The builds we played were on PC, but it's going to be supporting, I think, RTX and all the DLSS stuff and bits and pieces of that.
Yeah,
nature.
they showed that up earlier. It's very pretty.
Yeah. I
Your
couldn't believe
preview's
how
nearing
good it
1,000 views, by the way, on YouTube.
I think, like, out of, not that I'm tooting my own horn, but I did my best to, because they gave us around 20 minutes of B-roll. So I wanted to write enough where I could include the best bits of that B-roll and give you guys all a flavor of what it's like.
Yeah, I was curious if people are going to start yelling, everyone just has the same footage, but it's like, yeah, I mean, that's what they gave.
It's always a thing with B-roll and videos.
It was a lot of work for EA to make sure OBS was installed and set up and running on every single one of the 60 PCs they had at the preview event. So sometimes I think they're just like, because then they also like, you have to also make sure you brought your own SSD that could fit it all. I don't know, it gets complicated. It's a lot easier to just hand everyone the same zip file link. So sometimes they default to that. It is very nice to have your own footage, though.
It is. And there were so many funny things that I did in my footage. Like, you can, in true video game style, you can game the system, right? So there was one bit where I was like, I as far as I know, and Bethesda can come out and correct me on this, but certainly on my preview event, I was the only journalist to actually complete the Gaza section and get to the end. And they kind of came around to me and they were like, we didn't think anyone would get this far, so just be aware that this build might have a slight bug at this point, and it might all just fall over, and we're just standing here to see if it does that. And I'm like, okay. And then thankfully I got through it, and I got to the end of that whole section. So, but I did all sorts of things to kind of to shortcut your way through. And I don't know if people play stealth games like this, but you know, like, I'm going to take out every dude in this area without being seen. And you can approach it that way. You can like full on Sam Fisher, knock them all out, hide them in the shadows, carry the bodies, throw bottles of wine to distract them. And I ended up going to this like Nazi base and like putting them all in this one little guardhouse, like one by one, and somehow got away with it. And it's the sandbox that they've given you to just mess around with. And this level was huge. It was like a huge expanse to just explore of ancient Egypt, and it looks incredible. I couldn't believe how good it was. I was genuinely impressed. I think they're onto a winner there, and it's such a great way to approach the franchise. That is, you know, anyone that doubted, oh, why isn't Indy third person? I want to see Indiana Jones. You'll understand when you play. As soon as you get a feel for it, it just nails it. I think it's great.
Ooh. Hey, thank you, Joseph1WH. You have just upgraded from contributor to fan and done the full year backing. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, what a legend. Speaking of legends, big shout out to Peter Bonta, who dropped a super chat for the Indy preview, which I presume he enjoyed. So thank you very, very much indeed.
It was a great read, the watch.
Yeah, it's a great read and watch. Do us a favor, when and if our blooming website gets back online, do pop in and
tell John to never install old plugins in case that was the reason.
I don't think that was the reason.
You never know. Like it's a too many logins thing that normally means a brute force attack of trying to log in too much. What if it's trying to log into the Patreon stuff too much? Logically, you could logic it out.
You could. I have asked the support team to disable it, and they said they tried it and it didn't resolve it. So we'll see. Still waiting on support to come back. I will say one more thing, and if you spotted it, obviously, as I only had 20 minutes of B-roll to play with, I played it fast and loose with my intro, and I went and scoured previously released footage, officially released footage from Bethesda. And I want to have a theory. I'm going to throw a theory out to folks. This is just my interpretation. They didn't specifically say that Marshall College, with the break-in and the Indy getting knocked unconscious that I talked about in the preview, was the start of the game. And if you look at my video again in that intro, there is a short clip that is a recreation of the classic being chased by a giant boulder from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And my gut says, as this game is set between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, that they maybe are going to give us a playable intro, because all Indy films start with the big bombastic, maybe not relevant to the actual main, plot kind of chase, and then they'll give us the plot. And I'm wondering, I wonder if they're going to give us a video game version of Raiders of the Lost Ark's intro to tutorialize the beginning of the game, and then Marshall College is that second level where the real game starts. That's just my thoughts.
Maybe it's like he's talking to someone about what happened in the thing, or
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, this looks very good. And I would say this has a lot of Bethesda's, because their studios obviously talk and work together. They're using id Tech. That's why it looks so goddamn pretty. It feels a lot like Dishonored, but without having to never kill anyone or else you get the bad ending, which always drove me crazy with Dishonored, because it like things would just go bad. The more you kill, the more bad shit's around, and the worse your ending's going to be. This, it looks like I do get to, beat the shit out of and kill Nazis if I really want to.
Yeah, hit him over the head with a frying pan. Push them off ledges. Use the whip and just be like, what? And just it is just such a playground of very video game like delights that like only video games can kind of do and give you. But Troy Baker is brilliant as Indy. He
gets hired a lot for a reason.
Yeah, he does a genuinely cracking job as a pseudo Harrison Ford. They didn't give us a lot of B-roll of the AI interactions between Gina and Indy when they're actually down under the tomb of the Great Sphinx and they're exploring and solving puzzles. But she helps. She'll boost you up and all sorts of stuff.
I gotta add this to a new Game Pass game is dropping on November 5th. I've got to add it to the showrunner. It's one I really want to review.
Oh,
but I've never heard back from it. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
In a bit. So yeah, it's the one thing. The one negative I came away with was it did commit that grand video game offense of your AI companion being a little too helpful, a little too like, "Oh, Indy, why don't you do this?" said Marcus Brody. Like, "Here's the solution. That's not right." And it's like, okay.
It's been a tenth of a second. Let me give you the answer.
Let my brain figure this out, please. So I hope maybe there's an option in there that they can tweak where AI will be less like communicative in terms of assistance. But overall, genuinely looking cracking, like whip cracking good. I can't wait. I can't wait to get my hands on that full thing and play through it. I am excited.
I'm surprised people are surprised or like needed confirmation would be 60. It's like it's machine games. They were always 60.
Yeah. And id Tech is awesome. So
like they are pretty much, it's a shooter. It needs to be at least 60. I was hoping that maybe it could be 120, but that's too much for these consoles this late in the gen and until they cost $1,000. Then we might be able to get that for a while. But yeah, no, looks awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on it and help you boost the score on Metacritic to keep Xbox going.
Oh yeah, that's the Xbox era way.
Yeah, we're worth
we count towards Metacritic and OpenCritic so much.
We're probably about as low weighted as you can be, so that's how we keep saving Xbox.
It's so hilarious that people actually think that that's the case,
and people that are highly respected in the industry and put out books about Blizzard.
Yeah, they think that too.
Yeah, I mean, it literally came friggin' directly from him for some reason.
Speaking of handing out 10s.
Who would do that?
Who would do that
for
a game as woke?
I gotta check my bank account first. Hold on, let me make sure the check cleared. Nope, still pretty empty. Man. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, what a surprise. Yeah, that's.
Well, I did it anyways.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Dragon Age. I think it's fair to say that as soon as the game said, "Hey, we're going to give people completely optional things to go and do if you are non-binary or transgender, we're going to give you these things that you can completely ignore." But the internet was going to freak out about it. Lo and behold, what has happened?
It's just been the same. If you like it, you're a paid shill. If you don't like it, thank you for being so honest and fighting against the woke. It's the whole people that are always like, there's too much politics in this, and it's like, but art and games are inherently political. You don't give a shit about the politics in Indiana Jones because hopefully you don't care about you don't like Nazis. I'm sure there are people who are mad about it and stuff like that, but it's like, it's not I don't want politics, and it's not I want the truth. It is always, I want you to say the thing I'm hoping to be true. Like, that is what they actually want. They don't care. There's no good faith to be had. So I'm just of the mind to move on and ignore. There is zero benefit in ever interacting with it. And that's like one thing I'll vehemently disagree with Paris on when he's on Twitter and he's trying to talk to people through stuff like this. And I'm like, man, You are talking to people who just hate you and want to make you sad. That's all their goal is. They don't want to actually have discourse or discussion. So don't bother.
The cracking thing about some of the comments that we've moderated, and guess what, guys? We moderate our YouTube comments because we don't have to read this nonsense, and we certainly don't have to inflict
I mean,
it
I
upon
am
the
reading
rest
all of
the
it, but
community.
you don't have to read it.
I read it in my hours, and sometimes I get the notification and go to read it, and you've already actioned it.
Yeah, the ones that are wishing death or direct insults or saying page shill or this is woke DEI, those go. There's no, if there's a bajillion negative ones up there, but if you're not insulting and going after people, I leave them. But the moment you start insulting, you're out.
Yeah, do you know what I find hilarious about this whole thing? Like, I remember when using phrases like triggered and snowflake were considered kind of insults towards non-binary or people that wanted to be progressive. Oh, you're a snowflake, all of this. The ones that are now so vehemently against a thing that they have not played, that is completely optional and that they can completely avoid if they wish to, seem to be kind of triggered and a bit like snowflakes to me. I don't know. I find that ironic.
It is projection. I mean, it's almost always projection. You just see it a lot where people are like, this is happening over there. And because they know they're the ones doing it and they don't, it's like sleight of hand. It's like a magic trick. As far as the actual video game goes, it is amazing. I'm a humongous BioWare fan ever since the Baldur's Gate days, because I always had a gaming PC straight up to Dragon Age Origins, which is, again, a very different game than even Dragon Age 2 was, which was a very different game than what Dragon Age 3 Inquisition was, which is a very different game than the fourth Dragon Age, the Veilguard. This is a full-on action RPG in a BioWare style of late, where you are making your version of a specific character. This character is called Rook. It's their title. But it's very
Rook is in rookie?
Like they are a specific chess piece. The chess piece Rook, as in they're a different chess piece that some of the bad guys won't be able to predict what they're going to do. It's very BioWare. It's very Mass Effect. It's very Dragon Age Inquisition, where it's like you're making a character to go through a more narrow plot than something like Origins, and especially like Baldur's Gate 3 was the gold standard for having this big open world that you completely control. You have a character you make the entire background for. Your choices affect everything. It branches everywhere. It breaks everywhere, but that never mattered in reviews. But it's a great game. It's a very different game. Dragon Age is that Mass Effect 2-ish, Mass Effect 3-ish. You set up a character. You don't have full control over them. You are just choosing from specific backgrounds. And then you're going through and you're trying to keep everyone alive. Like, that is the focus of your choices. Can I keep my character, my companions, and the people that we work with, the factions? Can I keep them healthy and alive? Those are the main things your choices end up changing, alongside pretty much personal growth and personal journeys for every one of the companions. Like, every single one of them has an arc they're going through, and you help guide them through it in different ways. Like, those are the choices that matter. It's not Skillip was very mad because he felt like it's not Baldur's Gate 3. It's not this enormous branching tree of possibilities and endings. You're working to an ending. How you get there and who's still around and who makes it through, those are what the choices are about. And also Baldur's Gate 3 is unbelievably progressive and woke, but no one ever seemed to care there. The biggest change is the gameplay, which is full-on third-person action RPG, and I can keep talking because John was muted.
Why do people always mention it? I always
funny.
know.
I know.
And then it's just
because we keep talking. You know, because
I was going to say
talking.
the reason people don't notice it in BG3 is that you can make your boobs big or your bum big.
Mm-hmm. And characters can get nude all the time. You can just hang dong whenever you want. And you can have the boobies out. But yeah, so the character creator does feel limited by it coming from Frostbite. And I think a lot of this character and face tech is from Football Club. And football players don't tend to have enormous butts and boobs. I just don't think it was something in that engine. And then they didn't add it in. I wouldn't mind if they did. Having every body type represented would be cool, but everyone's super athletic because it's Frostbite. If it was Unreal, I'm sure they could have gone wherever the hell they wanted. But I digress. I love the story. I love the writing. It is quippy, but Baldur's Gate Dragon Age has always been quippy. Like, it's always been a quippy game. Even all the way back to Origins, it could be super quippy at times and trying to be jokes, and everyone keeps going on about character design and world design and everything, and it's a really good looking game, despite everyone claiming it looks like a mobile game. It definitely does not. It's just very colorful because you're now in the northern part of Thedas. In the other games, you were always in the south. The north has a ton more magic, and this magic is very colorful and pretty with lots of particle effects. You're jumping around, doing lots of combos like in Anthem. I keep seeing people say it's like God of War. I don't think it's like the 2018 God of War games. It's way faster and not nearly as like... God of War feels almost tankish. Like you're very set and looking forward and moving forward and wholly cooldown dependent. Depending on the class you play, you're either resource dependent or cooldown dependent. I was a warrior, so it was a mix of both. There's tons of builds to make, lots of weapons to use. There's only 3 main classes, but they each have 3 subclasses, so it ends up playing like they're very different, where you're sword and board, or for the warrior, there's sword and board, big 2-hand melee maniac, or focus on doing like necrotic damage and leeching health. They all play very differently. Wrote nearly 3,000 words and did a 19-minute review. Haven't had a single person push back on any of the words. Only the score.
I saw a bunch of criticism because you had a little fun, and maybe it's not something I would do, but it kind of fits within your writing style. Is you had a little bit of fun with the pros and cons because, and I get why you did it, right? You put runs great, plays great, sounds great, is great, right? As all your pros, and then I think you had one con where you were like, it can look a bit fuzzy, like on, right? And I get that why you did that, because your argument is going to be, I gave it a 10, people. Go read the review for all the pros.
Yeah,
they're all in there, but I saw some criticism on Resetera, and I just like flip someone off, whatever. It's our domain of the internet. It's
it's if you want to, this link should work better. The staging stuff popped up, but I don't know, maybe it'll work now. But it loaded for me. There it goes. It's got 9 views, John. It's flying up there. Yeah, I mean, it's pros and cons and score I don't like doing. They are the TLDR that people then focus on instead of actually listening to or reading any of it. So most of the time I do them straight. I'm just like, looks really good, sounds really good, gameplay too stiff, like those types of things. If it's like a 6 or a 7 or something. Like this one, when it is a 10, if you want to know why I gave it a masterpiece score, not perfect, because nothing will ever be perfect, because it only takes one person not liking it for it to not be. If you want to know why, then read the review. Or at least read the beginning and the end. That'll give you a longer, better TLDR. I don't know. But yeah, I love the game. Absolutely. One could say I absolutely adored it. I quite liked it and felt cautiously optimistic after the preview event. And then it just built up and got better and better because the parts we got to play were generally most of Act 1, or mostly in Act 1 and a little bit of Act 2. Act 1 is a slow build-up. Act 2 is good, and then Act 3 is amazing. So it goes from being, wow, this is pretty good, to, man, this is great, to, holy crap, this is amazing. So it's one of those types where it's doing a lot of build up to earn a ridiculously good finale. Because even like in Skill Up's review, he's like, he did not like the game at all, but he's like, but I love the ending.
Interesting. I mean, as a I wouldn't describe myself as a massive BioWare fan. I am a massive Mass Effect fan, right? And I know there's a lot of discourse out there that, RPG fans think Mass Effect 1's the best one because it's the most RPG-like. Other perhaps more casual fans would prefer Mass Effect 2 because it was really leaned into that action
they were
template and
transferring from a PC focused dev to a console one.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong. I think the trilogy, the original Mass Effect trilogy, is my favorites of all time in terms of sci-fi games. ME2 being very high up there, like that going through the Omega Relay will be forever one of the most epic fucking things I've ever seen in a video game.
Just let me say, the last 3 missions of this game beat that for me. That's what I'm talking about when how good the ending is. Like,
but that's my question is as someone who never played a Dragon Age, you know me in RPGs, I bounce off pretty quick. Would I be interested? Would I succeed with this one? Would this one get me, or would I kind of be like, eh?
It's not a computer RPG. Like, it's not a CRPG. There's plenty of talking and stuff like that, but it is an action game first, with being a full RPG outside of that. Now, it's not some people just look at role-playing game as computer role-playing game, where it's very focused on choice and branching paths and controlling every little minutia of the game world. And that is a great part of role-playing game, but there's also more action ones and more directed ones that are trying to tell a specific story, instead of, like, it took Larian making Divinity Original Sin 2, and then multiple years in early access with Baldur's Gate 3 to hone that engine and to make enough content to be able to do that type. Like, that's not going to be most games, especially not ones that look this good. It's way too crazy. Now, it does not bring in most of your choices from early Dragon Age games, because you are in a different area, and so some returning characters might be dead in those games for you. There's no getting around it. They were just like, if we bring everything in, it's going to have the Mass Effect 3 problem where eventually you just have to, like, kind of shoo it aside. It's like, oh, you had a choice about this person? All right, they're not going to be much of a character moving forward, because it's just so hard to bring all of that together. I think by the end, it really worked. It was the right choice, as hard as it was, because I've played through Origins and 2 and 3 multiple times. We do have an Blue Sky account, Agent Gale Force. It's not automated, so we're figuring, it's tough to get as much on there, but we definitely want to. And if you're Nick, it seems like everyone who works at Xbox follows you on Threads, so we're there as well.
Yeah, it's you're best off, Agent Gale Force, heading to forum.xboxera.com to interact with the community there, or our Discord, which is Discord, and I'm typing them in the chat as I write this, discord.gg/XboxEra. If you want to be access to the Super Cool Kids Club Lounge, which is where all our patrons and YouTube members hang out, just head to patreon.com/XboxEra.
We had one of our first trolls on the Discord today. That's fun. They were immediately yeeted.
Because our Discord's free to enter, they came in and immediately...
They came in and were yelling anti-DEA woke, and they did wish for me to have family members get cancer so that I would stop doing reviews. But little do they know, already lost family members to cancer, so checkmate, bitch. Get fucked.
Yeah.
All right. Dragon Age is amazing.
Speaking of trolls...
Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of trolls, I don't, maybe finish your Dragon Age line to wrap things up, and then I'll speak about trolls.
Speaking about would it be for you? Definitely, you need to watch TLDR. It doesn't have to be a long one. Just what is this world and what are the stakes? Once you get that, you should be good. It's not super. It's a super deep lore, but you don't need all of it to be able to enjoy this. But yeah, no, I think it plays great, looks great, soundtrack's amazing, voice acting's really good, writing's really good. The writing is on the nose and directs you. So if that is something that would bother you a bit, like it really pissed off Skill Up, like he just was like, it felt like HR was over their shoulders the entire time they're writing, which, I don't know, is a little dog whistly to me, but it's not far off of the you only wrote these characters this way for check a tick box on a friggin' DEI form type of stuff. I'm like, it did not feel like that. It felt like, and I agree with, I think it was, God, who wrote it? I forget it, but it was, this really feels like the first time lately that a BioWare game came out the way they really wanted it, because that was the problem with Anthem, where they just did not have the content or the systems needed to make it a live service game. And Mass Effect Andromeda was this big going across tons of, procedurally generated planets thing that didn't end up working. So they had to quickly throw together a subpar Mass Effect ish story that was a disappointment, despite the great gameplay. The story and characters were secondary. Story and characters are first here for me. It's the best companions I think they've ever made, which is extremely high praise for BioWare because they are great at companions, except for Anthem, where they just kind of didn't have any. I absolutely loved it. As always, go find other opinions. They're mostly extremely positive about the game. There's a couple of bigger creators who didn't like it, which is fine and normal and is how it should be. People seem confused. They're like, wow, some people like it and some people hate it. Like, yeah, those are opinions. You've got so from what I know, they gave, and people are like, they didn't give this to most people. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure they gave it to over 160 people. Like, they gave it to a ton of people. It's just like I saw in Kind of Funny, they're like, 2 weeks wasn't long enough. I'm like, man, 2 weeks is far and away more than 95% of AAA review timings. Like, 7 days is the norm. You're lucky with 10. Getting, I think it was 13. Pretty good. Not going to complain. I wish it was a month. That would make it way easier. That's Square actually tries to do that most of the time. Is really nice, even though we didn't make their cut for Life is Strange, sadly.
Yeah,
no idea why.
It seems to, yeah.
But yes, I like this game.
I was just scrolling Twitter. Like, it looks like the site is back up. So please do go click our Indiana Jones preview and give it a read, because that's actually the thing that does stuff. The YouTube is
YouTube
doesn't do much for us.
YouTube has to pop off to be like 30 grand in a day, and then you'll make 50, 60 bucks. It's not even, that's not a lot. I am very curious. The Modern Warfare is like almost 40 grand now. Did that do anything for the site? That'd be nice.
I have no idea. I mean, it got some more subscribers, which is nice. I was just reading through some other impressions for Indiana Jones, and I'm going to let you guess. Let's play Guess the Outlet.
Ooh.
Guess the Outlet. All right. Guess the Outlet. This is the byline of their tweet. After 3 hours with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I don't think
Metro.
it's the grand adventure Machine Games is pitching. It's just a fairly basic stealth game.
Can I get a region?
I could give you it has a specific platform focus in its title.
Dual Shockers.
No.
Oh. The other one?
Chat will get it, surely.
Shit.
It's PC Gamer, all right?
Oh, PC Gamer. Okay, yes.
They don't like it.
They don't like most things.
Do they like any? We joked when someone clipped our podcast from the weekend with us, or when we were talking about reviews and how gaming professionals seem to.
He did make it sound like if something's bad, we're not going to review it, but it's more like I'm not going to force someone to do it for free.
Yeah,
trust me, I have done a game that I was fucking furious while playing, but I played it all the way through and beat it. But I did that after a volunteer was like, I can't take any more of this. So I had a second code and I did it.
Yeah, I get it. But it just feels like people just want one sort of game all the time nowadays. It's really strange to me. I don't know.
PC Gamer definitely has I don't know what you would call it. They've got a tendency to go against the flow. Maybe it's just the way they feel on this one, but they're definitely if we don't like something at all, it's like a 4. Like, they're happy to throw that out every once in a while. They trend high. Like, even something like Starship Troopers Extermination, which isn't reviewing the best, and they reviewed it on console. They still give it like a 66. But then a bigger game comes out that they just really don't like, and it gets like a 4. And it's like, all right. Ribs.
It's strange. It's a strange world we live in. Anyways, next up in breaking news, a new game is coming to Game Pass on November 5th. And it's one that you're looking forward to playing, right?
I was hoping to review it, but
to get your hands on with this one.
It's through Tinsley, and they know I wanted to, but I haven't heard anything about it, so I asked again.
I know there's some folks at Tinsley from the UK side that I can
yeah, I mean, they know. It's just, do we make the cut at this point? And it's out in friggin' 6 days, so would really need it soon.
I'll ping him. But yes, Metal Gear.
Bye-bye, JB1521. Arrivederci.
Metal Slug Tactics.
Whee, bye-bye.
Metal Slug Tactics is coming to Game Pass on November 5th.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, there was a demo of this that I played. It was pretty damn fun. It was very short, so no idea what the whole game will be like, but I'm hoping it's good. I like Metal
Fingers
Slug.
crossed.
I like tactics games. I like when things are good, but if they're not, then you review them thusly,
yeah, I'm just
despite
gonna
what
ask them.
people think.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask them if we can have some.
Yeah, I told them PCs. It's always a thing. Like, it might just not be available until launch. That does happen, especially with smaller games. So if that is the case, then I'll try and take a look at it. But I'm really, really hopeful at that point that Flight Sim and or Stalker 2 wouldn't be too far away, which would then take up all my time.
Yeah. What else? Let's talk about gaming news because there's quite a few things going on, and it's already my god, it's already 10 to 4. Xbox teamed up like it was 2007 with Doritos, Rockstar, and Mountain Dew, and this is just in North America, right?
Yes, just the US.
Yeah. So you can earn, and we talked about this a little bit on the Saturday show, but I think that this is a very clever way of marketing Black Ops 3 without marketing Black Ops 6. My God, I am all over the place today. Turns out the site going down really does a number on the old noggin. What's happening there is, they've given away, codes for Game Pass, and you can play things on. It advertises different games on Game Pass, from Diablo 4 to Avowed, and other bits and pieces across all of these different, drinks and crisps and stuff like that. There's World of Warcraft on there, the Elder Scrolls Online, Madden 25, and gives away Game Pass Ultimate codes.
New,
right?
Only new
Customers only. But like, they could obviously have put Black Ops 6 on the bottles and on the crisp packets, but they didn't. Because it's probably, and again, this is just conjecture, it's probably against some sort of contractual agreement. But by doing this, these people will go in and go, oh my God, Call of Duty's on here. And then straight away, the message has been spread out. And I think that's pretty savvy of Microsoft.
If you get into their ecosystem at all, it immediately hits you with Call of Duty nonstop. Like there's a new look for the PC launcher. Like just a little bit different of a layout. If it ever wants to load, come on, Xbox app, you can show up. Every once in a while, since Call of Duty's hit, it's definitely taken longer occasionally for this freaking thing to open. See, so this is why people still get mad, because stuff like this can happen where it's just, I'm just sitting here waiting for it to load. It's been like 30 seconds and it's just not. But maybe I'll just go to friggin' Tom Warren's Twitter page because he put up a picture of it. But they've changed the layout, and it is definitely showing and focused on here. On Call of Duty's like right there when you go in. So big right at the start. Hey, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. So it makes sense. Oh, I see why. I'm in the beta branch, and there's an update available for it. That's why it didn't open.
I quite like the new look.
It's not super different. Oh, hey, now it loaded. So it's not super different. I would call it a little cleaner and just more in your face for the main things, which are what's recently come in. They've started putting in Microsoft Store stuff, which is good because it makes them not feel separate like they have. Like these are the deals on the Microsoft Store for PC. These are all the new day one or big day one things with Game Pass. It's a cleaner, more console-like layout, I think. It feels what they always need, which is having a freaking Xbox on PC.
Yeah, it really does make me want to hurry up and update my ROG Ally so that I've got the latest Windows build and get the Insider program on there, because compact mode on the Ally is quite nice. And God, COD runs so great on it. It's really novel to be able to use that freaking thing. It's so clever. Big fan. I'm a big fan. But yeah, there you go. That is the new look for the Xbox app on Windows.
And like like JB1521, who have I reread it, and it was one of those, it could go either way. He was responding to someone about it. So he's unhidden.
Gotcha.
I do agree. The more they get the actual Microsoft Store and like PC games, not just the mobile shit, the more they get the Microsoft Store into the Xbox app and make it all feel like one thing instead of having to jump between the two, which can be weird, the better.
Yeah. Speaking of Call of Duty, Black Ops 6 got its first patch. Is adding an infected mode and a bunch of other stuff, including Nuketown, which is coming next week, I believe. I've noticed a couple of other bugs, like since I've been playing multiplayer a bit. Like for me, every lobby I join doesn't show the rank and progress of the other people in the lobby. They all show as level 1. But I'm still having a lot of fun in that game, although I've yet to play with a full squad of like 6 people, like and just have a united team where we're all working together and communicating, because I think that would make a big difference. But yeah, good news for Call of Duty, and I think the sales data came out from Games Industry Biz. Chris String posted
Just physical for now, but
yeah, physically sales were down 10% compared to Modern Warfare 3. And that's obviously because of Xbox and Game Pass. But it's obviously the thing that bugs me with a headline like that is it's framed as a negative. And it's like,
and it's also,
they knew that was going to happen.
It's also presumptive and making an assumption. It's actually more like, it's like the actual breakdown of digital to physical on Xbox is so massive now for digital.
Yeah, it's like 91%.
Yeah,
or something. It's insane.
Yeah, it's utterly nutso just how much. And they also try and say, because Circana gets physical Nintendo but not digital Nintendo, and so they guesstimate the split on there. I guess maybe they do know better. I'm not sure. If Matt Piscatell ever wants to come on, he could let us know. But even there, it's getting close to 50-50, if not above that. On PlayStation, it's over 80%. Like, physical doesn't matter at all for Microsoft. It's such a teeny little amount. Of course, everything matters when you're at their scale. It all counts for something, but it's not very important, and it should just be an interesting little thing to look at. But you get a lot more headlines if you sensationalize someone else's work, and people love doing that.
They do. They really do love doing that. It's a shame. But yeah. What else is going on in the world?
You can ignore the Starfield one. It's not an actual story. It's literally just a guy saying, I worked on the first one. I think the sequel would be better because they wouldn't have to do all the work to start it. That's it.
Yeah, this is interesting. Is this the guy that's releasing that new game that he made?
I don't know.
I think it's like an open world hunting game, because I noticed he was like releasing trailers for his new game and people were using his comments about Starfield as the lead-in to talk about his new game, because the SEO would be so useful. And I thought that was pretty fucking shitty.
And it's the most basic thing of like, hey, when you're doing a sequel, you don't have to do all the work that you did to start the first one. Kind of like how the Elder Scrolls started small and got huge as it wasn't a sequel, as it was bigger and bigger sequels. And Fallout started small and got bigger and bigger with sequels from like, that's just the way all of these IPs go. But it's a big headline.
It's this is an ex Bethesda designer called Bruce Nesmith said that a potential Starfield sequel would be one hell of a game, because hey, there's lots of stuff you learn. You don't have to build the tech this time. You're starting from a good foundation of where you were, and then it's all the things that you can do to change and provide a better world to play in for Starfield 2. Obviously, any idea of thinking about Starfield 2, I mean, we'd be looking at 10 years from now, if not longer. We've got to get through Elder Scrolls and a new Fallout first.
Like,
surely.
If Elder Scrolls 6 was 2026 at the best, more likely 2027-ish, because they won't be rushed because Microsoft has so many games.
Yes.
And they are lucky at BGS to have been so successful in the past that their shit just sells and makes money forever. So they do, when you're balancing books and you're like, are you paying for yourself as a studio? I imagine the answer for them, as they're not that big headcount wise, is probably pretty good compared to most. That evergreen content, you know all about it, John. It's what everybody wants. But
I love Evergreen.
say you got 2027 for Starfield, and then you've got 2032 for Fallout 5, with Starfield 2 mid 2036. Todd Howard definitely retired by then, probably. Like, who knows? I don't know.
We'll be 50 something.
Mm-hmm. Nick almost already is, and yet looks younger.
Yeah, but I've worked out why that is, because he doesn't do any work.
Yeah.
He doesn't deal with any of the online stress. Like I tweeted a little tease for the Indy preview. I just did a little TikTok as like half hour to go to the previews drops, because obviously I read my emails, and just a little tease, nothing specific. And he immediately was like, "What's this about?" I was like, "Do you ever read our project Discord? Ever? Like where people do the work and post the previews and ask
he
for feedback?" And
he literally opened the Dragon Age review when I posted it, scrolled to the bottom, looked at the score, read nothing else, and then just gave me a really message. I'm like, if you read the review and then have an issue with it, let's talk. Otherwise, I don't care.
Yeah. Yep. I have to say, I'm looking at the chat and I'm actually seeing a load of new people here, like names that I don't normally see from not just from our normal community of awesome folks, but new, seemingly awesome folks. So I just want to wish them all a warm welcome. Please do hit that like button if you can be bothered to do so. It does help us out. And if you really love what we do, go check out our community Discord. Go check out our forums. All available and linkable via
Monkey Cop. He just gave you a comment on your preview saying, "Nice review, mate." I'm going to like that, even though it wasn't a review.
It wasn't a review. Monkey Cop, aka Paul. Yeah, I know who Monkey Cop is. Yeah, I know who he is.
Time to go edit it.
Yeah.
So that Bethesda doesn't get cross with us. Yeah, it's been nice. We've had some just massive videos for us lately.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Modern War. So like when they've gained a ton of subscribers, which is always super neat and helps a ton. But also our subscriber count has literally not moved. Like we had a friggin' video get 100 subscribers, and yet the subscriber count on the channel didn't go up. I have no idea how that happens.
Yeah, it's like it's just people unsubscribe, subscribe.
Well, also there are just so many bots on YouTube, and they talk about how they're always fighting it. So there's probably just losing bots as you gain, because it'll show you in the analytics on YouTube. You can see, oh, this person joined here and here and here. Like it never goes down. We don't lose people during videos. They just randomly, I think their accounts disappear because they're listed as bots. So
yeah,
it's confusing.
Surprise me.
Even Dragon Age is up to 7K now, thanks to all the people going in to downvote it.
Yeah, it's great though. Like, thanks. It's all engagement.
Yeah. So downvotes will mean you don't see our stuff. You see our stuff less often. That's how it works. But from our side, it's considered good engagement by YouTube, so we will get further up their algorithm.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword of doing a downvote. The view, any of the view time, and the downvote are all positive for the channel. That you're doing it too.
Appreciate you, people.
Shocking news next.
Worldwide sales of Sonic's X Shadows Generations surpasses 1 million units. So people still buy and like a Sonic game?
This is the best. This is the one that's doing the best. Sega can't miss this year. Everything's going friggin' popping off. I messed up on the review for this one. Turns out when I asked their main PR for review code, they forwarded us to the content creator side of things, which you get the code at launch. And it was supposed to be the weekend before launch, but then a content creator started leaking stuff, and so they stopped. Is my best guess, because normally we're press, but I didn't know that it was Indigo Pearl doing it and not this other company. So we would have had a review early. Chengus will get one out as soon as he can for the site, but people seem to like it, which is weird because it's Sonic. That's all I have to say.
I've never been a big fan. It's a Nick franchise, isn't it? Next up, Overwatch 2 is testing 6v6 during season 14. Is this not how originally Overwatch was set up?
It was, and then it changed to 5v5. So the problem with Overwatch every time has been they started focusing too much on the Overwatch League, the PvP side of things. So that focus really took over the game, and they ended up changing to 5v5 because it was better for balancing and all this stuff in the team OWL. In OWL, hi Monkey Cop. OWL is dead, I think, if I remember. And so now they're going back to, hey, let's just make it big, dumb fun that's decently balanced so that it's not annoying. That was because Overwatch 2 is still good. It is still big. It's just not as big, nor was it as good as it had been, which, you know, things have their ups and downs. So hopefully this will be back to an up. It is a Game Pass game, oddly enough, with the way they talk about it, because you get a whole bunch of shit from it. You get these mythic shards, which would let you get a mythic skin, like the super cool, highly animated ones, but you don't get enough of them to buy anything. So it's kind of annoying. It's like, you've got just enough so you can spend $5 or $10 and get the rest. It's like, God damn it. No. Bad dark patterns. But yes, I like Overwatch. I don't know that I can ever go back and play it because I just don't have any time. But if I could, this would make me happy.
Yeah. I was thinking about the Indy review whenever that comes around, and I'm like, please give us a good chunk of time, because that's going to be a chunky game to experiment.
It was 2 weeks with Starfield, so hopefully it's similar. It'd be nice.
It's late November, really.
Yeah.
If it releases in early access with the premium edition on December 6th, one could hope for something around November.
That's always
18th.
The hope. It is never the expectation.
Never the guarantee.
No, I never expect anything super early. Like, I am going to ask in a week or so about Stalker 2 with their PR. The request is already in on Press Engine for anyone who
I think that's what they're
for
using to distribute them.
Yeah, so if you're a content creator or got your own site or anything and you would like, and you're already on Press Engine, that is where Stalker 2 is. So hopefully that one's soon-ish, because it's gonna be a big old hard ass game to try and beat, and I always try and beat everything that I can. I love beating them off. And Flight Sim, you're gonna have to ask about.
Yeah. Flight Sim's been noted. Shouldn't be a problem. Last up, a couple of stories here before we wrap things up for this episode of Headlines. Layoffs have been reported at Don't Nod. This was covered a couple of weeks back in Headlines, where their top management team said, hey, you know, there's a redundancy plan. I think this was mid-October, to save the company, blah, blah, blah. There's been calls now for a walkout. This is via stjv.fr. This is a French website being translated into English for me.
I'm French Canadian. I'm practically from France. They'd all love if I said that.
Yeah. But yes, a walkout has been apparently threatened here. So
if there's one thing you can trust in France, it's striking against tyranny of any type.
Yeah.
I did not cover so Nintendo, a subsidiary of Nintendo, is doing layoffs. I didn't have the full story though. JB51 asking.
And that was apparently yesterday, so whether they walked out or not, I don't actually know.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything else. I was filling up the showrunner yesterday and then spending the rest of my morning, afternoon, evening, and then morning again moderating, so.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't worry. I keep an eye on the thingies as well. So don't.
I was just sitting here, finishing up the other review that's for next week. So I was here anyways.
I can see JB1521 in the chat asking about Nintendo layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo layoffs?
Nintendo subsidiaries, so not actually them.
Oh, okay. Because the last layoffs I can remember is like back in March, which was their testing branch.
Yeah, so I will put this
restructured.
Doop. God, why has it got all that shit? Well, that's the link. God damn it. Cat hit my keyboard. But yeah, so I'm trying to type and his tail keeps hitting my hand now.
This is apparently via Insider Gaming.
Those guys.
Those scallywags.
Jokers.
Who have reported that Nintendo apparently are laying off some subsidiary
Yeah, according
Folks, I
to
can't get
Japanese Outlook Leak Press, Mario Club Company Limited is letting go over 100 employees. The report claims that roughly 150 of the 400 employees at the company are being laid off. They also say that layoffs are happening to various groups within the company, and it's not targeting a single set of people. The conditions for the layoffs are also listed via the outlet and include employees who cause trouble, as well as those who drag their colleagues down.
Wow. Employees who cause trouble, huh?
It's a debugging subsidiary in Japan. The company is known for providing quality control for Nintendo while also testing and debugging Nintendo first-party software. That is via Insider Gaming. It'll be in our showrunner post on the website if the website's still working. Well, you know, you can just do... I guess you got to say these people really suck to be able to lay them off in Japan.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Oh dear.
150 out of 400. My God.
That is a huge chunk. Jesus. Oof, I say. And then, last piece of news is the US Copyright Office has refused to grant an exemption that would allow researchers to remotely access out-of-print video games. This is via Chris Scullion over at VGC. The Software Preservation Network, supported by the Video Game History Foundation, petitioned the US Copyright Office for an exemption that would let libraries and archives provide remote digital access to video games so that researchers could access them without having to visit their physical premises. Now, obviously, to do that, that would be circumventing the rules in the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And the US Copyright Office has said, nope. No exemption.
Yeah, it was fought
remote access
by,
remains prohibited.
Fought off by the industry, who were afraid it would be used for recreational purposes, if I remember correctly.
Heaven forbid that those games be played. Disgusting.
Those games that you can't buy anymore or anything. Sure. So yeah. Just no. Corporations generally get their way here. They are considered people. People don't get their way. Corporation people get their way. America.
Anyways, that is it for the news. It's been a drama-filled afternoon for me, I think.
And why'd you break the site,
everything
John?
seems to be fine now, so all's well that ends well, I suppose. As always, big thank you for everyone that came hang out and chat the news with us, and to our lovely community. Be sure to stick around because we'll be back on Thursday for more headlines and Saturday for the usual podcast shenanigans as we enter November. I think Halloween is on next Thursday. This next episode of Headlines is Halloween, right?
Yep.
Well, I think it would probably be a good idea to do some sort of hangout stream during Thursday to celebrate the spooky season. But I get the feeling there's something happening on November 2nd that I haven't mentioned. And what could it be? Jesse, do you know?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, ciao for now. Bye, everyone. I was going to give you the opportunity. Do you want to pimp out?
This November 2nd, Saturday, all day. All right, I was going to see how long I could go with that. November 2nd, all day. We're doing the fourth annual...
Extra Life stream.
Yeah, so it's our fourth year in a row. We're already halfway to our goal because, boy, we've got some crazy, amazing community members. I've got a couple games up on... The link is pinned to the chat here. I don't remember if I put it in the description. I probably didn't because I'm too dumb. I did not. I'm going to put it in the description as well. So it's extra. It's a long ass friggin' thing. Otherwise, I just say it. I need to make a tiny URL. That's what I got to do. Always forget to do that. So for now, links in the description or it's pinned to the live chat. It is Extra Life for Xbox Era. We are part of Team Giant Bomb, who've raised like many hundreds of thousands of dollars over the decade. Plus that they've been doing it. So all day Saturday, we will be streaming video games for fun. We'll be doing the Xbox Era podcast at the same time via StreamYard because I will still be on OBS doing that stream as long as I can. I'm sure John will be joining me. Ursel and others will play some fun co-op shenanigans type stuff, not Outlast Trials because that will be weird to have floppy dicks and boobs during a kid's stream.
Spoil sport.
Okay.
Okay.
But yes, it's so we're doing it for the Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital of St. Petersburg, Florida. I believe that's in Clearwater, which has gotten hit by 2 hurricanes lately, so I'm sure they probably need some help. So join us that Saturday. I'm going to be doing a shit ton of giveaways on our Discord. If it was easy to do them on the forum, I would do them there, but it is easy to do them on the Discord, so I'm definitely doing them there. There's also a few games up right now. If you go to that page, you can have an incentive. You can give a little bit of money. I think it's like $40 to $70 for those games, and I'll send you the code. So there's a handful of them up this year. It's not going to be everything. Most stuff's going to be a giveaway, which we've hit most of the incentives, so I've got to come up with more incentives by Saturday. But yeah, see you then.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
You can do it. And to close things out, I'm going to read the wise words of Coffee Jesus in the chat for traditional English Halloween, which is switching the lights off, drawing the curtains, and pretending you're not in. That will be me on Thursday.
And me.
So for now, be good to each other. Remember, it's just video games, and try not to take life so seriously. And we'll be back on Thursday for more news and Saturday for the usual podcast. For everything else, stay tuned to xboxera.com. Much love and ciao for now.
Goodbye.